Today, I'm going to teach you how to write the ultimate email. Hi everyone, my name is Alan. I'm a UCLA instructor and the head academic consultant at Tertarian Consulting. I always say you can get whatever you want if you say the right things to the right person at the right time. This guide is going to teach you how to write emails that get you exactly what you want. The first but most important step is identifying the right person to talk to. What you want to look at is authority and relevance. Most of the time, you're going to be emailing your teacher or professor, but sometimes it's someone from the school's administration or even a counselor. You want to make sure the person you're contacting has the power to do what you need them to do. No more and no less. If you have a class schedule conflict, you email your counselor. If you need your grade curved or an essay regraded, you email your instructor. Once you've chosen the person you want to email, the next step is thinking of the right things to say to this person. Here's how you structure your email. First, you start with the greeting. This greets them and sets the tone. If you want a semi-professional tone, you might start off with something like this. Hi, Mr. or Mrs. Smith. I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you want a more formal tone, try this. Hello, Mr. or Mrs. Smith. I hope this email finds you well. Next comes the introduction. Introduce yourself, even if you know the person. Teachers and administrators deal with hundreds, if not thousands of students on a weekly basis. Make sure to let them know who you are. If you know them, just remind them how. For example, it's Jimmy Johnson from your 4th period English class last year. If you don't know them, describe yourself in a short sentence. My name is Jimmy Johnson. I'm a rising junior at Woodrow Wilson High School, and I have extensive experience editing videos. After the introduction is the build-up. This is where you build up to your request. If it's someone you know, this part can be very short. You just need something to transition into what you're going to ask them for. For example, I've been writing my college application essays for the past few weeks, and I noticed that I'm struggling a lot more than expected. If it's someone you don't know, you would mention how you found them and why you're emailing them specifically. Mention something about them so it's clear you know who you're emailing. Like this. I was at the local library last Saturday and attended the film fair. I saw your documentary and was really inspired by your work, so I searched the web and found your email on your website. Here comes the request. This is when you finally tell the person what you need from them. Whether you know them or not, the rules are generally the same. Be polite, be humble, and be direct. Tell them exactly what you need. Nothing more and nothing less. Like this. Could you please look over my personal statement and give me recommendations on how to improve it? Or, do you have a summer internship available at your production company? After you make the request, it's time to provide some incentive. Make sure that the person you're contacting has something to gain from their current or future interactions with you. Making them feel good is a legitimate incentive. Telling the person that their actions will be an extreme benefit to you will actually create an incentive for them to help you. This will make them feel like a good person or that they did a good deed, and this works in your favor. If you already have some sort of pre-existing relationship or rapport with the person you plan on emailing, this should be enough depending on what you're asking for. For example, I had an amazing time in your class last year and learned a lot. It would mean the world to me if you made the edits my essay needs. If not, you need to provide value so the person you're emailing sees the potential in helping you and creating a mutually beneficial relationship. Without actually saying it, you also need to make it clear that you won't be a headache for this person in the future. For example, I would really appreciate the opportunity as it would be a very crucial learning experience. I have a passion for video editing and attach links to some of my past work. I'm also a quick learner and can accomplish anything I set my mind to. The incentive can sometimes be put before the request, however, this happens in unique situations. After you've given the incentive, it's now time to give gratitude. This is where you express how grateful you are for their ability to help. You remind them of the power they hold, and it makes them feel good. You can also act helpless or like a victim to further increase the incentive for them to help you. It also helps to repeat their name. Here are some examples. I really appreciate everything you've done for me, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Without your help last year, I would have been completely lost. I appreciate the time you took to read my email, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and I will be extremely grateful for any opportunity to work and learn from an industry professional such as yourself. Last but not least is your signature. You've crafted a beautiful email, and it's time to seal the deal. There's a variety of ways to end an email, but my personal favorite is sincerely. Skip a line, your first name, and your last name. Here's some additional things to keep in mind when writing your email. For any number under 100, type it out. Don't just write the number. Instead of writing, I'm in your second period with a 2, say, I'm in your second period, written with no numbers. When you're writing letter grades, put the letters in quotations. For example, instead of writing, I have all A's in my classes without the quotations, say, I have all A's in my classes with the quotations around the A. Believe it or not, grammar makes a big difference. In any negative situations, do not use nouns that involve the person you're emailing. Remove them from the situation so they don't feel like you're blaming them for anything. So instead of writing, I'm worried about my grade in the class because you have not graded the test yet, you should write, I'm worried about my grade in the class because the test has not been graded yet. Do you see how we didn't refer to him in that situation? In any positive situations, always mention how the person was involved. This gives them the credit for it and makes them feel good about themselves, which translates into them being more willing to help you out. Instead of writing, the workshops really helped me do well on my essay, you should write, your workshops helped me do really well on my essay. This gives them the credit for it. One simple word makes a huge difference. There's an important psychological phenomenon known as the serial position effect. The serial position effect is the tendency for a person to remember the first and last items in a list better than those in the middle. If you have to include something negative, squeeze it between two positive things. For example, in last year's math class, I won the class tournament, and even though I got a B in the class, I was given special recognition for my efforts in helping others in the class. In this example, we sandwich the negative information between two pieces of positive information so that it lessens the negative impact of that bad information. Tertarian Consulting's ultimate email strategy utilizes this effect in its structure. Take a look at the framework. There's the greeting, the introduction, the build-up, the request, the incentive, the gratitude, and the signature. Notice how the request is sandwiched in the middle of everything? This minimizes the negative effect that the request has on the person reading the email. They're much more likely to remember the positive emotions they felt reading your introduction and gratitude rather than the negative emotions of inconvenience they felt reading the actual request. It's also important to make sure you have good spelling, grammar, and phrasing of sentences. Something that is very overlooked in emailing teachers or administrators is consistency. Make sure you email them regularly throughout the year about anything relevant. Thank them for a workshop they held, a lesson they gave, or a pleasant experience that you had in their class. This will definitely improve your relationship with them. It looks really bad if you contact someone only when you need their help. Now that we've covered the right things to say, let's go over the right time to say these things. This widely varies depending on the situation. So here's a couple of general examples. If there's a problem that needs to be solved, email as soon as possible. If you need a recommendation letter, email 1 to 2 months before the recommendation letter is due. If you're emailing about a job or an internship, email 2 to 3 weeks before you're able to start. When you're following up on an email you sent previously, the follow-up should be about a week after the last email. Again, these depend on the exact situation, but the more you follow this strategy, the more you'll get the hang of it. I'm going to show you 2 examples. We're going to go over the situation, the email that was sent, and the result. Since these are real examples from some of my own students, I'm going to be using fake names and titles to protect the identities of everyone involved. Scenario number 1. This is a college-level communications class. The student turned in 2 of their assignments late and is in danger of getting a B in the class. The goal is to get the professor to give as much credit for the late assignments as possible. Here's the email we sent. Hi, Mr. Smith. I hope you're doing well and enjoyed the long weekend. I turned in 2 of the assignments late, the media notes on assignment 3 and assignment 5, due to a lot of pressure from other academic and family matters. Is there a possibility of getting partial credit on those assignments? I fear that getting a 0 on those 2 assignments might drop my grade from an A to a B, and that would not accurately reflect the valuable knowledge I gained from your class through the effort that I have put in. I apologize for any inconvenience I may be causing through my request for partial credit. I really enjoyed taking this class, Mr. Smith, and I want to thank you for the time and effort you put into teaching us and making sure we succeed. Sincerely, Sally Johnson. Here was the response from the professor. Got him, Sally. You're good to go. Nice work this semester. This student ended up getting 75% credit for those assignments and received an A in the class. Scenario number 2. This student wants to participate in university-level research. He's emailing one of the lead research professors at his university. His goal is to get a spot on the research team. This email was sent during the COVID-19 pandemic, when almost all student research was put to a stop. Hello, Dr. Jones. I hope this email finds you well in this trying time. My name is Johnny Smith, and I'm a rising junior at ABC University studying business economics. Ever since I learned about behavioral economics, I have been fascinated by the field of behavioral sciences, and I would love to have the opportunity to contribute to any of your studies. I have been looking into your publications, and I'm intrigued with the study on the impact of the EHR menu designs on physicians' choice of treatment. One of your essays, research number 74, was among my favorites because it enlightened me as to how effective behavioral science truly is. Research has been one of my passions ever since I began higher education. My first year in college, I independently conducted research on the effects of weightlifting on aggression with testosterone production as a connecting factor, and I presented my findings at the ABC Research Conference. My second year in college, I participated in an organic chemistry research project focused on synthesis of hydrophobic esters via Stieglitz esterification. During my time conducting research, I have learned to employ the scientific method, manipulating independent variables, documenting data, and analyzing results to further my understanding in this topic. Given that the work you do combines two of my academic interests, economics and medicine, I would be honored to assist you in any research that you're currently conducting. I've attached my resume for your consideration, which discusses my research in further detail along with some of my other accomplishments. Thank you, Dr. Jones, for taking the time to read this email, and I look forward to hearing from you. Best regards, Johnny Smith. Initially, this professor didn't respond, so a follow-up email was sent 1 week later. Good morning, Dr. Jones. I'm checking in to see if you received my email last week pertaining to research. I know that you're a busy person and that it's very possible that my email got lost amongst a cluster of other emails. Sincerely, Johnny Smith. Here's the response from the professor. Hi, Johnny. Thank you for your interest and persistence. Alas, we are currently not seeking new research assistants. However, I definitely have a project you might be interested in next quarter. Please check back with me in the spring. Best, Dr. Jones. The student emailed this professor a few months later and secured a position on one of their research teams. Always remember, say the right things to the right person at the right time, and you will get whatever you want. Subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, teaching you what schools don't about topics that are important in academics and in life. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you on the next one.